What's up, guys? Welcome to the Nerdlocker podcast. It says this is episode 16. Did you miss us? We've been away for a minute. How's everybody doing?
Nothing.
Nothing. No one's done anything. This is why we haven't done anything in a while.
I've been waiting since the last episode.
I think we have like 3 people that were like, weren't you guys doing a podcast?
Mm-hmm.
We're back for you 3.
Yeah, we're back. A lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff coming up. We've got, San Diego Comic-Con coming up. We've got some interesting Marvel news that I want to talk about. Brandon's got something that he's just dying to share with the rest of the universe, apparently. And then me and Jim are just going to make fun of him the whole time.
Yeah, this sounds like, we're going to get back on track.
On track.
Really normal. Well, to start with Comic-Con, we will not be going this year. It's kind of becoming a clusterfuck, and that's kind of the point we are talking about today, because Mile High Comics has announced that they will not be going to Comic-Con anymore. And what is it? They've been going since when?
1973, I believe.
When it was probably like at a fucking ballroom in a,
Dirt mall.
Exactly. But that's really big news if you've ever been to San Diego Comic-Con. It's the big, giant comic shop set up against the wall, like, every time.
Now, and speaking from being a kid of the 80s and stuff, and when comics used to have, like, a shit ton of ads in them, Mile High was always the ad that was always in almost every single comic you read, right? And as a kid, for me, growing up, like, you either had the Mile High comic ad on the back half of the comic or somewhere in the inside somewhere. But when I first went to Comic-Con, my very first Comic-Con, which was like, 95, I want to say. Okay. That was like the first place I went to, because they had all the back issues. Everybody knew Mile High Comics had all the back issues that you were looking for, no matter what. And, even when we started going with Nerdlocker, that booth was like a cornerstone of the actual Comic-Con itself. Everybody knew where that booth was. Everybody knew how big the booth was. If you had to meet somebody, you knew exactly that, meet me at the Mile High booth. Got it.
Yeah,
no question.
The biggest sign and the just largest area of comics in the whole convention.
Mm-hmm. Now, according to the Mile High website, it states a couple of reasons why it's not attending the Comic-Con this year. One of which is actually the cost of going to Comic-Con. They mentioned that it's what is it?
$18,000.
$18,000 for the booth space.
Yeah, I read that as well, and it's like, Jesus Christ. To look at what they started paying, that's insane.
Right, and then on top of that, the lack of foot traffic, because now, Comic-Con has turned into kind of like this big commercial pitching party for a lot of media outlets, which is good, I mean, to some extent, but at the same time, you can't exactly forget what made Comic-Con,
Exactly.
I went to Comic-Con to find back issues and weird shit that I couldn't find in my normal comic book store.
I feel like nowadays it's become, you got to get the exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it is.
You got to go to Pop Vinyl or Funko, get the exclusives, and it's like, that's not Comic-Con. I mean, that is Comic-Con now.
I understand don't get me wrong, there's cool exclusives, but it's getting to the point too where it's like, there are so many, and it's like, even with Funko, that line is done before the doors even open. Like,
right.
You never figured that one out. On a side note, figured out how that.
I talked to somebody who, I guess they do a bunch of ticket sales beforehand.
Oh.
So yeah, like that's why, because I remember the one year, it was the night, I think it was the first year we went, and I was super hungover, and I went early because I just needed to walk so I wouldn't throw up. And I got there, and I was like, well, I'm here so early, I'm going to go to the Funko booth. And I got in, like, past, there was this one door, and they just let me in because I said I was press. And it was already it was the only place people were. They were all in line for it, and I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Like, what time did you get here?
I remember being stoked as hell to go preview night because that was the first preview night I've ever been to. I'm like, oh, sweet, preview night. I get to walk around on, didn't have to worry about anybody being around, the press, and that's it.
Packed as shit.
It was like, holy shit, did they open early?
Yeah.
The
first year I went, we went in preview night, and it's like people were still setting up.
Right.
And it was just, I remember the first year I went, I thought it was like the most magical place I've ever been in my fucking life. And like, yeah, like they were still setting up, but now like Wednesday is another day. Wednesday is a day of Comic-Con. Like,
right.
They still call it preview night, but it's like, everybody's ready to go.
Right.
Well, I can't imagine being an average Joe going to this, and I understand we're going to be talking about some negatives and complaining, and we really had sort of the easy life as far as Comic-Con goes.
Mm.
But I can't imagine being an average Joe going to this, and how are you going to get in on any of the exclusives? You're going to wait forever to just get one. You're not going to really meet any celebrities for the most part. You're not going to, you can get, what is it, Hall H.
Hall H, yeah.
Good luck. You're going to spend all your time waiting in that line, where at the very least, because of our press credentials, we were able to get like interviews with a lot of DC people.
The comic companies are still cool to people that are interested in it. Like,
like we were talking about earlier.
Well, I take that at DC and Image are. Marvel doesn't give a shit about anybody.
Valiant was good too.
Yeah, Valiant was really good.
But forget about just a normal average Joe like us as far as press going to try and find anything from Marvel, any of the other studios, Fox, even just like the TV stuff. We were lucky to get like Anchor Bay and some of the DVD releases. They were always cool, but it's all Entertainment Weekly. It's all the Nerdist now, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was crazy because like at the time I was over at GoPro. So remember when I split and I had to help some friends from GoPro with Ubisoft. And Ubisoft, shout out to Ubisoft though. Those guys were actually really cool with us.
Ubisoft is cool every year with us.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite videos.
Yeah.
Go on YouTube and type in, I think if you just type in Nerdlocker, San Diego Comic-Con, Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
You get to see Brandon run an obstacle course with just stellar commentary from
running. All I know is I was recording, and all of a sudden you were not in frame, and I didn't know what happened.
Here's the deal, guys. I don't know how many obstacle courses you've done, you guys and listeners as well. But there's a point where like the ground, you're not supposed to step on it because it's like padded for falling. Yeah, the floor is lava. I stepped in lava and ate shit immediately. Then I didn't know how to recover. So I just kind of kept going, and then I fell again immediately in the lava.
We're talking about the days of Super Contra when you first start and you're dead right away.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. Brandon did not make it far at all. I completed it, but man, it was a lackluster finish.
Yeah.
This wasn't your fault because you jumped off that platform. But the dude who went like right before you that was dressed as Link and got kicked out, who did the flip.
Yeah.
Dude, he made it look so awesome. And then you kind of just
and then even there was some guy after me that I guess was dressed like the kid from Up, and he killed it. And I was like, well,
there you go.
Not my best day.
Nope. No, not at all.
No, there's still. Don't get me wrong. If you want to go to Comic-Con, go. I want to go again. I definitely want to go again, but it's just. Us going as press is different because we have I remember the last time we went, we decided we're going to focus on interviewing, cosplayers and, we weren't trying to do all the interviews with the creators and stuff because, all that's getting covered. It's just, it's just so different than it was. And it does suck because the fact that it's called San Diego Comic-Con and you have the biggest comic retailer that's been there for decades no longer going. Yeah, that's to me that's the first sign of
it's going downhill.
Yeah, shit's gonna start really changing. It's gonna become this thing where it's all VIP, celebrity meet and
Right.
greet bullshit
I
for
was gonna say
the.
because because we went there like a solid 5 years in a row. And, I mean, it's been what 3 or 4 years, but we went 5 years in a row, and even in that time frame, it had changed, and it was beginning to change, and
Right.
not necessarily in a positive way.
Yeah.
Right. When it started bleeding out to the gas lamp, that's when I was like, all right, this is getting kind of
Oh,
ridiculous.
I mean, it's all over. It's the entire area of San Diego now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jesus. But I mean, it's true. I mean, when we went, I thought the fact that they filled the back area where the boats were, like when
Yeah.
they did the Assassin's Creed pirate ship, I thought that was like, oh man, they've run out of room. And then the next year, it's like, oh no, now we're across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. That was it, man. But I mean,
taking over Petco Stadium with who was it?
Walking Dead.
Zachary Levi. No, not that one.
Oh
Not
yeah,
that.
no. When we went, it was the Nerdist. The Nerdist had
Oh,
that little.
That's right, the Nerdist.
And that was like badass with the Alien video game and
Oh yeah,
how they were doing. What was it?
They had the lounges set
robot
up.
chicken and shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, holy crap! You bled over into a baseball stadium.
he was like, I'm not going to that baseball stadium. I don't
Yeah.
do sports.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, overall, let's hope that Comic-Con takes notice of this because this is a big deal. Preferably, I would like to see, and this is my own personal take, I would like to see all the large media groups like your Foxes, your Paramounts, and all the movie studios get punted to the back, and have all the things that makes Comic-Con up front. I mean, you have Artist Row when you first get in. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. But I think they should follow that up with the vendors and the people that, really are the cornerstones of this, culture overall. Instead of everybody trying to shoehorn themselves into the Marvel booth, and that's another thing. Marvel is great, but dude, that booth is like in the shittiest location you could possibly imagine.
Nightmare.
It's like right in the fucking middle, and I'm like
Yeah.
every single time you're like, okay, we got to skirt the wall because Marvel is doing a presser, and mind you, a presser that we're not invited to, but a presser, and then we have to avoid this huge clusterfuck of a crowd. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I stick to the smaller Comic Cons now. The smaller cons and pick up on getting stuff there, hopefully.
Yeah,
It's funny you mentioned it earlier, Patrick, with the 80s. This will never happen, and I'm probably having a fond memory that's probably sucks in real life. But going to the mall and they'd have like on specific weekends they'd have like a mini Comic Con, and I don't mean Comic Con like actual anything going on, but people would come and bring their comics, and shops would bring their comics, and you'd go around and you'd meet and talk and just chill, and it was so awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that kind of feel come back to a Comic Con. Maybe it's there with some of the smaller ones, but like the Wizard World kind, that's not a Comic Con. Those kind of drive me nuts that those are considered that.
Right.
I'd like something like I don't know, San Diego Comic Con, just on a much smaller scale.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely. I like the one in Vegas is getting better. The amazing Las Vegas Comic Con. I have to tell you, they sucked this year with responding because we did not get press passes for that. I don't know what was going on, but I did not hear a response from anybody. But I heard it was a much better turnout, and that's slowly getting like they're asking for more room every year.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it starts. You guys remember book tours when like that's the whole reason why I went to Comic Con '95 was because you remember how artists used to do book tours. So I don't know if you remember back when Image first came out. I think it was it Gen 13.
Yeah.
Gen 13 Killer Instinct. The Killer Instinct tour. Yes, I remember this one specifically because the Killer Instinct tour was a cross book, story arc within the Image universe, and it was J. Scott Campbell, Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee. I want to say Mark Textria was there, and a couple other like writers and artists and inkers. Scott Williams was there, and they used to travel to local comic book stores around the country. And I got what had got me to the Comic Con was the fact that I went to the Killer Instinct tour at my local comic book store here in Southern California. It was in Palmdale. And back then, the Palmdale was like a small shit town. But I had Jim Lee, J. Scott Campbell, Mark Silvestri, all at my local comic book store. And I was flipping the fuck out.
Hell yeah.
I was flipping out. And I got, I still have them. I have signed comics from Jim Lee. I have signed comics by all of them. But I've got a hand-drawn picture somewhere that Jim Lee drew up asking for a Filet-O-Fish from McDonald's for some reason.
That's awesome.
And everybody, I had the biggest car back then, so this is like 94, right before I graduated high school. Jumped in the car, instantly drove straight to McDonald's with like 6 nerds in the back, and we just fucking rolled out. Got McDonald's for everybody. He's like, well, what does J. Scott Campbell want? Who cares? We're just buying everything.
Get all the burgers. He'll eat something.
He'll eat something. We got like everything on the menu was purchased that night. And we just brought like this whole like offering to the comic gods. Like, here, take any of this. We just spent our entire paycheck on this stuff. And what we got out of it was we got a shit ton of signed comics. I've got signed X-Men Generation 1 cards, the foil cards that Jim Lee did, the whole set. I've got all my gold foil cards signed by Jim Lee.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah. So it was definitely worth it. But that's back when they gave a shit, you know what I'm saying? That's when, they would come to a small-ass town. They would come to, they do still do it every once in a while, because I know Jay's done it a couple times.
Yeah.
But they don't come out in force like that.
I mean, not to...
Not little podunk nowhere.
Yeah,
No,
but also, like, not to... I don't know the full details, but I hear that some of them can get pretty diva-esque with their list. Like, I have to stay in this kind of hotel and pay for my dinner at this place. And it's
I think I know who you're referring to.
I don't know anything for a fact. I just have heard that some people are a little aggressive.
I've got a signed Joe Quesada Ninjak, too, out of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Joe Quesada was cool as shit, too, because he was into graffiti, and I was, too, at the time. So,
I'm a big fan of his. I know, like, the younger generation, Brandon, don't really see it.
That's because he mythically divorced Mary Jane and Spider-Man. Fuck that guy.
He brought Marvel back from the brink of bankruptcy, pal.
No,
Yeah.
I know he did. I do like him. I appreciate him for, everything he's done. I will forever say fuck you for doing that to Spider-Man and Mary Jane, but
yeah, I agree with the other one.
I understand, everything he's done, and,
Yeah.
Marvel definitely owes him one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Speaking of Marvel news, like, did you guys see that Lucy Liu will be directing some of the episodes of Luke Cage Season 2?
Yeah, I saw that.
That is pretty interesting, because me and Jim were talking about it before we started jumping on the podcast. But we were trying to figure out like what else has she done, and she's done a couple. What was it? Elementary, and what was the other one, Jim? It was
Graceland, I think.
Graceland, yeah, Graceland. So it should be pretty interesting, but this is like her thing the fuck up.
Yeah, big time. And it's because like Luke Cage is already now super popular, so it's not like when he first came out. Okay, whatever. Maybe it wasn't her fault. Now it's like, no. You set the bar really high.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, is you're directing maybe 1 or 2 episodes. So, I mean, like, as long as the writing's good, all you're doing is just directing it. So I'm hoping that, like, you can't fuck this up real bad. Like, I'm hoping that they still have people mapping out the fights and doing everything, like they did the first season. Because that first season of Luke Cage was fucking great. A goddamn soundtrack was great. Like,
yeah, you couldn't.
Method Man was great. All of it was great.
That's a good point, man. Because I remember this is back in the day. Quentin Tarantino did an episode of ER,
Yeah.
And
So did Rob Zombie.
and they were interviewing him, and it was like, "Oh, dude, it's so cool." And he's like, "Dude, as a director of a TV show, I don't do anything because the DP, the writers, they all tell me what I need to do because they know the Bible that is their show. I'm basically there not to fuck it up."
Right.
That's what Kevin Smith said about directing The Flash. Is he was like, you just show up and they're just like, no, this is how it's going. You're just there to sit behind the camera and say action. He's like, you can have your angles
I
and
can do
stuff.
that.
But yeah, that's what he said. He's like, it was super easy and I got all the credit. Like, I was just like, action, cool, great episode.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
so that's the hope I have for that. I mean, even Iron Fist was not great, but by Marvel standards, like it was still pretty good. Like
Yeah.
I could say it's the weakest, but it didn't totally suck. Like I think people are starting to get expectations for certain Marvel things, which is
Mhm.
because it's like, God, Iron Fist was so terrible, and it's like, well, why? Because it just was, and it's like, oh wait, you have expectations for comic book shows now. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, if that's the worst that they ever make, dude, that's awesome.
Exactly. That's the way I was looking at it. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be the one that said Iron Fist kind of sucked for me. It's just because I watched Enter the Badlands.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Cubby has been telling me how good that is, and I have not watched it yet.
Yeah,
And he says he actually said the same thing. He said it's everything Iron Fist should have been.
exactly. So once you see all the fight choreography and then look at Iron Fist, you're going to be like, oh, dude.
Well, I'm hoping that season 2 of Iron Fist is a little more thought out. I mean, they've gotten a ton of criticism for that. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking that Finn, it's Finn Jones, right? Or no, wait, what's his name? Am I screwing that up? I'm an idiot.
Well, that's a given.
Finn
but-
Jones, yeah, it is Finn Jones. Fuck you guys. Maybe
didn't
Finn
know
Jones
that
takes a little more time to kind of look, because I heard that was a thing. Is he just didn't know any of the choreography, so it was like, all right, this is what you're gonna do, action.
Well,
Like,
the
Yeah.
timeline seemed rushed too, just from Luke Cage was announced, and then it was like forever before it was released. Whereas Iron Fist, like casting, hey, we've got our dude. Okay, now here's the episode. And we're like, whoa, wait a minute, that was quicker than normal.
Right. It's the same with Jessica Jones too. So
I really like Jessica Jones, but I didn't like the ending because I wanted to see David Tennant around forever because he did
no.
such an amazing job.
Right.
He was so fucking creepy, and like, don't get like, I understand why, like, it basically left you with no choice.
Right.
But I was just bummed because I'm like, oh man, I was hoping for like a lot more of his bullshit.
No, I was hoping to see
It was
Wildcat.
So bad.
I was like, are we going to see Wildcat? What the hell?
Well, I mean,
Dude.
they definitely hint at it, so I'm
Yeah.
hoping that she pushes forward a little bit.
Yeah,
You
because I
guys-
mean,
did
if
you?
the-
Oh wait, what are you saying? You go.
no, I'm just saying, like, if we get the night nurse strolling into a secret, kung fu headquarters in China, and
Okay, that was definitely my one. I forgot about that part. That was fucking bullshit.
yeah, exactly. We can't get Wildcat. Come on, man.
I love Zara Dawson. I've loved
So
her in
do
every
I.
other show, but it is like you've now had, 2 seasons of Daredevil and 1 season of Iron Fist establishing that you do not fuck with the Hand.
Right.
They'll kill you dead. Like they will be behind you the whole night without you knowing, and then murder you. And then she's like, "Hey, I've taken a few punching lessons. I'll go fight a bet." Like I think she lands a punch on a dude in the hand, and I'm like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, is he fired? He's fired."
He's fired.
If
But on the
he
flip side, if you look at it, the people she's hanging out with are kind of holding their own against the Hand. So he could have been like, "Oh, dude, they can do it. I can do it. Let's try this."
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
just
guess,
saying.
but it's just like, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, check this out. I got tiger claws. Like, have you trained martial arts? Do you know what these are? Nah, just I'm gonna punch with them. Cool, that's fine. We're giving you a weapon that can be used against you if you lose control of it. But get on in there, throw some punches. You're good.
Go on.
Everything's good. Don't worry about it."
You go, sport.
You go get him. Tussle her hair. Be like, that was a good effort. High five. Yeah, no, that was a little bullshitty, but
Yeah. Whatever. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
yeah, like I said, if that's like Jim said, if that's the worst thing they do, then
Yeah, we're in good hands.
exactly. Did you guys see Spider-Man yet?
Yes. Yes.
What the fuck do you think?
You know, I know it's a no. I just figured I ask. I don't know. Like, I thought that was really good. I thought that was really well done. It's definitely the best Spider-Man movie to come out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I by far, it was the only one that my son actually got up and cheered in the middle.
That's
Like,
badass.
You know, he was like rooting for Spider-Man big time. You
Dude,
know?
the whole thing. There was one point in the movie where I leaned over to Chase and I was like, if they do this, I've given up on this movie because I was just starting to get this like Spider-Man 3 taste in my mouth. When they have the party and it's like, Spider-Man, is he gonna come to the party? And he's like about to, and I was like, if Spider-Man goes in that fucking party and starts doing fucking high school shit, I'm gonna be irritated as fuck.
Right.
And thankfully they veered away from all that. And I love that later in the movie that's like a really big part is the fact that he wasn't at the party.
Yeah.
Not to ruin anything for Jim, but man, everybody kills it. Like Michael Keaton, he's my favorite villain that Marvel's done. That was incredible. Like,
I would have to agree with you on that one. Like, outside of what is it? The Kingpin. Who's the guy that played the Kingpin and Daredevil?
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio.
It's Vincent D'Onofrio. Outside of Vincent D'Onofrio, Michael Keaton is probably the best bad guy that's been in the Marvel universe.
He was fucking perfect. He was so good. He was so good.
Like, you
Which is
definitely
cool
respect
and
him.
weird because I just don't like. Was it the Vulture? Is that who he's playing?
Yeah.
In comic books, I'm like, oh come on, are you serious? This episode's the Vulture. This issue's the Vulture. No, I don't want.
I've always liked him because he's iconic, but I've never read like a solid Vulture story.
Exactly.
Me neither.
But this was well. It's cool because they like just to give you an idea of the movie. He worked. It was really cool because there's a really big Marvel like tie-in from the start, which I liked. He's working a construction crew after the Chitauri attack, and while they're cleaning it up, damage control gets established and comes in and takes it over. And him and his guys happen to take some of the Chitauri tech, and they start making weapons out of it. And he builds his suit. So it's like he builds a suit out of this tech to steal more tech, but it's like he's a actual Vulture. Like he's picking up the scraps.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, Vulture to me is a Daredevil villain, and Daredevil's sort of a second-tier hero. So to me, Vulture was like, whatever, he's not that cool. He's not cool enough to be with Spider-Man, even though I know that's where he belongs.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they did an awesome job with him.
Yeah, they and I don't think at any point they actually call him the Vulture.
Nope.
Like,
Nope,
they
they
just
don't.
like his suit resembles that, and like it's just what he's doing is he's going around and he's
Scavenging.
Yeah, so that every time the Avengers have a fight, they catch these trucks on the way to their payload and take what they need to sell more weapons and do more shit. There were a ton of Easter eggs. Like there were a ton of.
Oh my God! Yes.
Did you catch the graffiti?
Yes.
That was cool. There's a really iconic scene that John Romita, I believe it was John Romita Sr. drew back in the day, that they kind of recreate that sewer thing. All in all, that's the best Spider-Man movie they've ever done. And the thing that I really love about Tom Holland is that he's young, and they're establishing now in this world where like you're actually gonna get to see Peter Parker grow.
Yeah.
Which I think is really fucking cool.
Did you catch the principal?
The name?
The principal, who the principal is?
I know the actor. I didn't see the name.
No, dude.
Hold on.
Oh, dude.
His name?
No.
The character's name?
When Peter Parker, Jim, earmuffs. When the
Hold on.
when the principal, when Peter Parker is sitting in the principal's office,
Yeah, I remember when he's like,
Okay.
just go back to class or whatever. Like,
Right. Look over the principal's shoulder and see who's in the picture, and you'll make the correlation instantly.
I hold on, I'm fucking this up.
You are fucking this up because you should have got this.
I didn't notice anything in the. Who's he supposed to be?
He's the grandkid of one of the Howling Commandos with Cap.
Oh, holy shit! Yep. Oh man, that's so cool. God damn it.
Yeah, there's a picture.
Yep. I see it here. I literally Googled that as the first picture that came up.
Yep.
Fuck, that's cool.
That is fucking cool.
That's just like a cool little add-on.
Yeah, that was a split second one too. And I looked over his shoulder. I was like, "Oh!" My son just looks at me like, "Dad, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool. I'm all right."
Did you get the Donald Glover kind of reference?
Yeah.
I was like, that was tight. They don't say anything, but I'm like, I was also glad that, like, because everyone's like, oh man, are you gonna see Miles like walking down the hall? And I was like, you better fucking not, dude. Like, you don't need.
No, we don't need
Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
the same age. Like,
no.
So that was really cool the way they set that up. But
Yep.
yeah, Jim, when you can, go see it. Stay to the very, very, very end. It is the best stinger I've ever seen. It was solid all around.
So what's your news that you wanted to tell us all?
Okay, I just saw this. I don't know. Maybe I'm behind. I just saw someone post this. I think this is fucking awesome. You're talking about Quentin Tarantino earlier. He is doing a Manson family movie, and it's possibly with Brad Pitt and Jennifer Lawrence.
What?
Cool.
That is
that we don't know.
Oh, so you did know that. You did know that. My bad.
I didn't. So that's
I
awesome.
read it on Birth Death Movies.
Oh, god damn it. I just saw that and I lost my shit. That's going to be...
Wow.
I think it's going to be, like... I don't know if this is the point where, like, people are going to be like, I can't do him anymore. Like, I can't do Tarantino anymore. I'm just wondering, like, he's... Like, I love Quentin Tarantino so goddamn much, but...
All right, I'm going to go contrarian. I'm sorry, man. He's hit or miss.
Ooh.
Inglourious Bastards sucks.
No! What?
Django Unchained rules.
They both are amazing. Those are
That's
both
it.
great movies.
That's him. He's hit or miss.
What about Hateful Eight? Did you like Hateful Eight?
Kill Bill, I didn't see it.
Oh, the fuck it! They're all so good.
Because he's got more ones that I hate than more ones that I like. So,
That is disappointing. Well, you also don't like Prometheus. So I should have expected this shit from you.
Let's not.
Actually, now that, hold on. We'll save that for next episode.
Oh,
Have you seen Covenant?
No, I have not seen Covenant yet.
Has Patrick seen Covenant?
No, I haven't seen it.
I mean, has James seen Covenant?
What the fuck do you think?
Yes, you have.
No, I'm not watching Covenant.
You can't argue if you haven't seen it.
I'm not arguing about Covenant.
It's part of the franchise.
Which
Okay.
one?
Yeah.
The Prometheus.
Stewart or McAvoy?
Exactly. Also confusing.
That's all I got to say about that.
All right, yeah, that's fair.
Sorry, back to Tarantino. I think Reservoir Dogs was amazing. Pulp Fiction was good stuff. I really like the Rum Punch book. I can't remember the name with Pam Grier. I really like that one. Kill Bill.
Oh, Jackie Brown?
Oh,
Yeah,
Jackie Brown.
Brown. Love Jackie Brown. But Kill Bill, I hated.
What?
And then Inglourious Bastards, as a history major, I'm like, what the fuck is this? None of this is real. None of this happened.
Yeah.
Hated.
Well,
That was the whole point. I finished that movie ended, and I was like, "This is how I'm gonna tell my kids World War II ended. I'm gonna let them learn. I'm gonna let them take their tests or whatever and pass school, and then I'm gonna be like, hey, they lied to you. This is what happened. The bear Jew shot Hitler beyond recognition, and then blew up a theater.
To watch Django Unchained because I was done with Tarantino, and I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. I love this movie.
Django was great.
And then I'm like, I'm not wasting any more time.
That's disappointing to hear.
I do that with directors a lot, but yeah, he's definitely not, to me, amazing.
It's all right, guys. Jim doesn't like the best movies. He hates Prometheus. He hates half of Quentin Tarantino movies. I legitimately thought he just disconnected me. I thought I was like, well, all right, never mind.
Hey, you like sleeping with one eye open?
Guess I'll have to.
Guess I'll have to from here on
There
out.
was another thing that I just saw. It was on Dan DiDio's Facebook page, and I looked it up. And although it's happened in other parks, it has not been as close to us as this is. But Magic Mountain is getting a Justice League ride
Yes, it
called
is.
Battle for Metropolis, and they are building a Hall of Justice.
Yeah, I saw it. So when I went to, because I live like 10 minutes away from Magic Mountain,
Yeah.
and I was there. Was it last week before last with my kids? We're walking by, and the way the park's set up, they actually have like a DC type area, so it's just DC shit. It's like you've got Batman the ride, you've got a couple of Carney type of rides that are dedicated to characters. But as we're walking, I peeked through the fence and I was like, holy shit, that's a Hall of Justice. And my wife stops me. She's like, what are you freaking out about? And my son instantly like smashes his face against the fence to look through it. And we're like, that's the Hall of Justice. And we're both flipping out. So yeah, they're building the Hall of Justice. The Battle for Metropolis ride actually opens this week,
No shit.
I believe. Yeah, so we're going to try to go and check it out. It looks like a very much like the Disneyland Buzz Lightyear type deal.
Yeah.
So we'll probably wait till the crowds die down a little bit and then go back and actually try to check out and enjoy the ride itself. But they're putting some serious cash into the DC world over here at Magic Mountain.
I really hope so, because they actually, I read this a while back and I was super stoked, but of course they waited till the very end of the article to put this in. But they're working on a Warner Brothers theme park in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And they're going to have like more than just a ride. They're going to have a Gotham area, a Metropolis area, and a Hall of Justice area. And I'm like, why are they not doing that here? Like,
right.
Especially at Magic Mountain. Like, that would be so
ideal.
Perfect. So I'm hoping that this is something.
I remember growing up. Do you guys ever been to Six Flags? Is that a thing?
That's Magic Mountain.
Oh, is that what it is? I didn't know that was a Six Flags.
Yeah,
Six Flags in Ohio had DC shit growing up, like the Superman ride and a Batman ride. I think
I always remember being like rides wherever I went, because they used to have them all over the place. I think there's a lot less now, Six Flags, but
yeah,
I remember there being like a Riddler's Revenge ride and but
it's been forever since I thought about that stuff.
Are you talking about Kings Island, Jim, or
it? No, I know Kings Island, but it had like a Six Flags. Who they bought out, like SeaWorld or something?
Mm.
What was that? Not Geauga Lake.
Geauga Lake, yeah.
That area, they did a Six Flags.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping, especially with, you've got Harry Potter World, you've got fucking Star Wars Land that's going to happen, California Adventure is doing a big push to make California Adventure the Marvel park. Like, they've got to step up their game with this DC shit. Like,
yeah, they do.
Even if you don't do the movies, like, I'm okay with a Hall of Justice from the comic books. Like, let's.
Now, to be fair though, the Hall of Justice, it's nothing like ginormous or awe-inspiring or anything like that. It is, maybe 2 stories at the most.
Well, I think it's supposed to be like where you enter for the ride or something.
Yeah.
And that was the thing, is in the one they're building in Abu Dhabi, it's going to be its own attraction. It's going to be a Hall of Justice with like props and shit. That's the shit I'll lose my mind for.
Yeah, and that's the thing I always wonder about, especially living here in Southern California, since we're so close to all this entertainment stuff. You have Universal Studios, which does a great job of a very very interesting like setup in a very confined space. And with Magic Mountain, the way the Magic Mountain's set up, there are acres upon acres of land that is still undeveloped by the park.
Yeah.
That's owned by the park.
Perfect.
So if I were Warner Brothers, I'm like, okay, this is our crown jewel park, because we've got to compete with Universal Studios and Disneyland with Star Wars coming. and Marvel come in, and we're going to put it in Abu Dhabi. I mean, come on, dude. How many? Can you afford a flight to Abu Dhabi? I mean,
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I literally was like, well, I'm not going there. That's not near me.
right. This is flights around about $1,500. $1,500 round trip.
That, Trump doesn't want us going anywhere that sounds like that. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'll fucking be fucked on that too. So
yeah. You get a tan, you're screwed, Brian.
yeah, I won't get. Well, thank God I don't tan. I'm either white or pink. So.
Oh shit! Oh, and just on a Quentin Tarantino note, just throw back that when he did Kill Bill 1, I got a chance to see him in a movie theater in Redondo Beach, which is outside of Torrance, where he's from or where he lived at the time, sitting in a movie theater, sweatsuit and all, watching his own movie in a regular movie theater.
That's badass.
That's awesome. I love that he loves movies. That is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I just want to throw that out there just so, Jim, you may hate him, but, well, not hate him, but hate his
That's like half the time.
Just half the time. Just 50%.
From Dusk Till Dawn? Oh, my God. One of my favorites. Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, he wrote that.
Yeah, so just write. Don't direct. I'll be honest, though. I love the mythology or the history of the Manson family, so I'm super curious.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I don't know. That sounds like a big undertaking.
Yeah, and it's like for as violent and as over the line as he is, like I'm wondering how he's gonna. I mean, I'm excited either way, but I definitely think there could be people leaving that just like throwing up in the like the aisles.
No, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, anything else you want to cover?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm pretty interested to see what those people who are going to go to Comic-Con, what they think, how it is, how is it. I've got friends going. If you, as a viewer, as one of the three people listening,
all three of you at
the podcast that happen to be listening, if you do happen to make it down to Comic-Con, let us know your thoughts on it. What did you take away from it? Was it what you expected, or it sucked? One of the two. But outside of that, that's the only part I'm really curious about. And then I can't wait to... Oh, one last thing. You guys haven't seen it, check out Castlevania on Netflix.
Shit was tight. I want more. I want a lot more. 4 episodes is not enough.
Yeah. That's my one parting gift to everybody is, like, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's awesome. And, Game of Thrones.
Oh, shit, that's Sunday.
Yes, it is.
Well, maybe we talk about that next week.
Yeah, we'll cover that shit next week, because I'll probably lose my mind.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be... it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a fucked up episode.
Yeah, it will be.
They're going to do shit just to be like, haha, see you next week. It's like, no!
This is what you've been waiting a year for.
No one knows what's going to happen because the books aren't here yet. This is our territory now.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Make sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon. And until then, everybody have a nerdy week.